Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. And today we are bringing back an old classic video on this channel, which is Love It or Leave It. It has been probably a year since we've done a Love It or Leave It, so I apologize for the break. But honestly, I was just a little bit less regular about posting videos starting last summer when I started working. So now that I'm trying to be a little bit better about regularly posting, let me know if you guys would like to see more of these. If you're new to Love It or Leave It, these used to be our kind of quarterly activewear check-in videos where I would do some mini reviews of some pieces that I didn't feel like needed a whole dedicated video, as well as favorites and quality updates, any pieces that I thought were really holding up really well or just weren't holding up as much. For a lot of my reviews, I may only test an item once or twice before actually filming a review. This allows me to kind of revisit those pieces that I'm wearing more often and see how they are holding up. If you enjoy this type of video, make sure to give it a thumbs up. And without further ado, let's get on to the mini reviews. The first mini review is for the new Lazuli V-Seam 2.0 leggings. I've done a couple Lazuli reviews on my channel. They are famous for their Sculpt scrunch leggings. Basically, Lazuli is all about trying to make the glutes look as good as possible. And their V-Seam leggings were really popular for a while and I never got to try those. I feel like for me, Lazuli is pretty hit or miss. I have loved some of the pieces. I have been disappointed by a good amount of pieces. So I'm excited to try these. I have already worn these to the gym, so I already have my thoughts. But these are launching in May, but I don't know if they have a release date yet. I'm filming this before they've really told me like when things are releasing. Anyways, they're coming out with their V-Seam leggings as well as biker shorts. I always like their shorts better than their leggings, and long sleeve tops. So I'm a little bummed that there's no bra in this collection, especially because the tops I don't really feel like go with the leggings. These are mini reviews, so they're gonna be a little bit more rapid fire than our normal reviews. Anyways, this is the V-Seam legging. It is made of a seamless fabric. They have updated it. Again, I didn't try the original V-Seam, so I don't really have much to go off of, but they are called the V-Seam. This is the back of the leggings because they have a pretty drastic V to accentuate the glutes. And then instead of a scrunch, they have a short back rise seam. We've seen this in a lot of Buff Bunny leggings, a lot of Buff Bunny seamless leggings. This short back rise seam can be pulled up the glutes to kind of act like a scrunch, but you avoid having that actual scrunch look. This does still give you some glute separation here. These have a little panel detail that kind of goes from around the glutes to underneath to give a little bit of compression there. I say it's definitely not nearly as much as the Sculpt seamless. The waistband is sewn onto the legging and it is a ribbed seamless. And then we have the front, just flat across waistband here, no front seam of course. The panel detail does extend to the front. Then they brought back their classic kind of silver logo. I think Lazuli does best when they have their tonal branding. They've had that in a couple previous launches and it just looks so sleek. So I'm a little bit bummed to see them bring this logo back. Here's a close-up of the fabric and everything. It is a super stretchy marled seamless. And these are coming in brown, gray, black, and green. So I have 3 of the colors to show. All right, here they are. And they're simultaneously too big and not too big. Like, I don't know, like I get this lipping at the top of the waistband here. And if I lean back, there's definitely a little bit of gaping. It's just not the kind of compressive seamless waistband I'm used to. Not that they should all be super compressive, but there's definitely a little bit of flaring at the top, which is just a little bit odd. And then depending on certain movements, a little crotch gathering is always pretty normal in a seamless legging, but it's always more prominent to me when there's too much fabric in the crotch. And I definitely feel like there's a little bit too much here. And you can just see in certain movements, there's just a little bit of extra fabric right where the seam meets the leggings. I feel like the fit could be a little bit better, but I'm just not sure I'm ready for a size down. This is a size small, which is my normal size. We do have a high rise. The waistband is a double thickness ribbed, so definitely has a lot of potential for compression there. We have the logo here. The waistband does have this little interesting design at the top there. It doesn't really do anything functionally, but it just is like a little bit of something. You can see that shortened back rise seam here. It is up the glutes. I did wear this for a workout and they stayed up really well between the glutes, which doesn't always happen with a short back rise. So I liked that, but it's definitely very short. It could be a little bit higher for me personally, but it all just depends on your body, your anatomy. If you're a little bit shorter, this would probably be perfect. We have that under glute ribbed contour detail, which is really flattering, but it's not too compressive. It's not like squeezing like the Sculpt seamless. These are definitely going to give you cellulite coverage. You have that ribbed area, and then you also have that pretty drastic marl to the fabric. Overall, this fabric feels almost like kind of a cross between an Alphalete Revival and a Gymshark like camo seamless. It's a little bit more dense. It still has all that stretch, but I will say it leans a little bit towards the itchy seamless. I am feeling just a little bit of itchiness here, so not my favorite for really long-term wear, but this is a very durable fabric. Let's do the full-length view. With seamless leggings, we often have good vertical stretch. If I had to give a booty scale rating, I'm kind of between high and medium to high. I don't know, it's hard to say. I'd say overall I do like these leggings. There are a couple things I would change, but after trying them on a second time, I am liking them a little bit more. I don't know, let me know what you guys think. Did you try the original V-seam leggings? I like the idea of including a seam in a seamless legging, especially in the back, instead of a scrunch. I think it's just a nice way to add some definition to the glutes without having a shiny scrunch in there. Next, we have the Lazuli V-Seam 2.0 shorts. These are an 8-inch inseam short. They have a very similar structure to the leggings. They have that sewn-on waistband, logo in the front left, panel detail, V-seam in the back, short back rise seam, and on the green, you can definitely see that panel detail a little bit more pronounced. Something I love about Lazuli is they're always doing a longer short. I actually really like the length of this short. It's an 8-inch inseam, like I was mentioning, but because you pull a lot of the fabric up the glutes in the back with this short back rise seam, it ends up being a pretty good length where it's not like super biker, but it's also not really super mini short. Again, I just feel like their shorts work better for me than their leggings, but let's try these on. Okay, so here are the shorts. I have worn these for a workout and they stay put very well. The shorts, they always stay put a little bit better than the leggings for me. I just do find them to run a little bit big. There's always one or two things I would change about a Lazuli piece. And for this one, I feel like the thighs are compressive enough. I don't feel like they're actually too big in the glutes or anything, but right where the waistband hits the seams there, you just get a little bit of extra fabric. Same with the front. You can see the fabric almost kind of like bubbling there. There's just something a little bit off. So I would definitely say if you're in between sizes, I would size down, but I can't say that I would want an extra small in these shorts. I think that they might be a little small if I do. Anyways, the waistband is a double thickness ribbed seamless, nice and compressive, but because it's not overly tight, I'm not getting any sort of muffin topping or like super compressed. I'd say the waistband on the shorts really isn't too bad. There's like a little bit of lipping right at the top, but it's not really gaping. Then we can see that little paneled area. It's kind of reminding me of OG Alphalete Revivals. You saw this kind of panel detail, and it's really not squeezing or anything. So if you didn't like the compressed squeeze feeling of the Sculpt seamless, then these do feel a lot more forgiving on the thighs. But if you are expecting that kind of Sculpt seamless, you will not be getting that feeling here. So we see that ribbed area kind of curves around the glutes here, and without too much adjustment, it does go right underneath the glutes. So that's good. We have that back rise seam that is going up the cheeks there. If you have a really short sacrum, this will work really well for you, and your hips are a little bit taller. For me, I think that this seam could go just a little bit higher. It's still super flattering. I'm still gonna give it a medium to high on the booty scale, but it's a little bit dictated by your anatomy. Lastly, the thigh area, honestly, super stretchy, definitely thick thigh friendly, and I just really like the length of these. It's the perfect biker length. I wouldn't want it any longer. I could have it be a little bit shorter, but I actually think that they're super cute at this length, and this fabric also feels pretty opaque. We're not seeing anything through. You can just see in the hip area, there's just a little bit of extra fabric. I don't know, I just feel like these don't fit the best. Would I wear them now that I have them? Yes. Would I go out of my way for these? Probably not. I still think that there are some improvements to be made, and honestly, this is something I struggle with a lot of Lazuli stuff. Usually the thighs are a little tight, the waist is loose. For some reason, they just don't fit me super well. So let me know what you guys think. If you've had success with Lazuli sizing, if it's also been hit or miss for you, what do you think? And then the top they're launching is the high neck, open back, long sleeve. This is not made of a seamless. This is why I just feel like this piece is a little bit out of place. First of all, it's summer. I would prefer to have a sports bra or tank, something instead of a long sleeve. First of all, I'm not a huge fan of their non-seamless materials. And second of all, it just doesn't perfectly match the seamless. Not really a huge fan of this top as a matching set with the bottoms. So we have a little mock neck here. It is a cropped long sleeve, quite cropped. We do have long sleeves, but no thumb holes. And the back is completely open with a little V detail at the top. Again, we have that silver logo. I prefer their tonal branding, and I don't love a huge open back like this if it's not going to be a built-in bra, because then you get to see the bra underneath, which I guess could be a pro or a con. You could kind of use this as a styling moment to highlight the back of a sports bra, but you are going to see that sports bra underneath if you are someone who doesn't like that look. Here's the top, and you can kind of see what I mean, where they've launched these in the same collection, but they don't really go together. Sure, the colors match, but whenever you have a slightly different fabric, the colors are never 100% matching, which I'm fine with, but I would have liked to have like a bra instead, something instead of the long sleeve. I'm just not big on long sleeves as my only pairing option. I love a good long sleeve moment occasionally, but not in the summer. Anyways, you can see it's quite cropped. It's just about the length of a midline sports bra, a little bit longer than the bra I have on underneath right now. We have a little tiny mock neck up at the top here, definitely snug. So I would say true to size if you want a snug kind of body contouring fit. Size up if you're in between. The sleeves are a good length on me. Again, there are no thumb holes. This fabric is really just okay. It's got some stretch. It's a tiny bit brushed, but it's not really soft. My favorite long sleeve tops are always like super lightweight, super stretchy, super soft, and I do feel this getting like a little bit itchy. And then we have the open back. Again, you just really have to be selective about which sports bra you're wearing because you're gonna see the back. So I wouldn't recommend something like I'm wearing. I'm not sure I'm loving this pairing here. Next mini review, I have been meaning to try these for so long. This is my problem when I get some pieces that don't really fit in to a review. They just kind of sit on my little clothing rack and I don't try them for months. But I had an Amazon scrunch legging review, or I guess just an affordable scrunch legging review, where I tried these Sunzel scrunch leggings and I really liked them. I feel like Sunzel has been really stepping up their fabrics. It's super soft and brushed, and it has a hidden scrunch in the back. It looks pretty scrunchy, but it's better when it's on. But I felt like all of their leggings are running really big in the waist. I got a size extra small because the small was just gaping everywhere. So I figured this would be a perfect opportunity to finally try and see if the extra small actually is better for me. Okay, these are the extra small and they're much better. No gaping in the waist. Still plenty of stretch. I am feeling more compressed in them. They're more of a medium to high compression, but they still have plenty of stretch in the fabric. So I'd say you don't have to size down in these, but if you do have a smaller waist, I would consider a size down. These are high rise, hitting right about the smallest point of the waist. No front seam. Flattering on the glutes, they have that hidden scrunch. High on the booty scale. The fabric is about a medium thickness, so you will get some cellulite coverage there. I'm just going to check the sheerness here, and I'm not really seeing anything through, so I do think this fabric is nice and opaque. Going for a full length view, I think I got the shorter inseam. They usually come in a 25 and a 28, so I probably got the 25 when really I could use a 28, but I'm definitely happy about these. I love the color too. It's such a nice little periwinkle. Next, I have a couple Paragon pieces. This is part of their core collection, so something that they continue to restock and bring back, but they are new to me. This is their ruched bra. I got it in a size small. I'm wearing it in the green right now, and I've actually always loved this style of bra with the ruched front detailing. I think it can be super flattering. I like the V-neck, the ruched detail, and then we almost have this inverted V in the front, which is really flattering. We do have removable cups, a racer back. It is long line. This is made of their Reluna fabric, which I don't know. Someone let me know if you are a huge Reluna fabric person. I just think it's just not the best. It needs a little bit more density while still remaining stretchy. I would love to see them experiment with a few more fabrics because I feel like their designs are really good. So let's give this a try. Here is the ruched bra. I really like this inverted V in the bottom. I feel like this would be super cute with a cross-waist legging to just kind of have like that little double V effect. But this is a scooped neck bra. I do also have a little bit of side boob. The support is light to medium. Again, this fabric with just not having a ton of hold doesn't have a lot of support for bras as well. Definitely a lower impact bra. Coverage, I would say honestly low to medium coverage. It's pretty scooping. We have that scoop around the armpit as well. That being said, I don't see myself falling out of it at the gym, so it's still wearable for me. I would say still large bust friendly, just not high impact. And then we have that racer back. I generally don't love long line bras, but the fact that they kind of brought it up in the front really improves that for me. Oh, I definitely think the bra is cute. I hope that they bring it out in other fabrics because I just don't love the leggings that go with it, but yeah, I like the bra. And then we have the original Sculptseam Plus legging, which is my preferred legging from them, in the Reluna fabric. So normally this is the Rec Stretch fabric, so it's new that this is in Reluna. And again, Reluna, not my fave, but I'm starting to feel like what I really don't like is the original Sculptseam fit. I just feel like the waist is never snug enough, it just slides down, so I wonder if it'll stay up better in the Sculptseam Plus. I got this pastel blue color, which is super cute. We have a double thickness waistband, no front seam, small gusset here, curved glute seams in the back, and then the Sculptseam Plus extra scrunch in the back as well. Let's try this on. Here are the leggings, and I still like the Rec Stretch Sculptseam Plus better. For one, the Rec Stretch one, I believe it has a layer of mesh in the waistband. This one does not have it, and while I think that these would stay up better than the original Sculptseam leggings, I still just prefer the Rec Stretch fabric. Honestly, both of them are still a little bit thin, but this one is just a little bit lower on the list for me. Anyways, if you do like this fabric, we do have a high rise. It hits just about over the belly button there, double thickness waistband, very light compression, and these are super flattering on the glutes. I definitely would say that these are more flattering than the original Sculptseam. Seams go above the glutes, that scrunch sits in between the glutes, and you can see maybe there's like the tiniest bit of fabric gathering, but unless you did like a really close look, you don't really see that actual scrunch. These are not going to be great for cellulite coverage. Something Paragon's not afraid to do is make a sheer legging. I just can't imagine that these would be super squat proof. We'll do a quick test here, and then I'm just gonna take one out of Bailey's book and do the little sticker test, and yeah, you can see that pretty clearly. To be honest, would I still wear these with nude underwear? Yes, but I can see my nude underwear a little bit. So these are definitely not the most squat proof leggings. Here's a quick look at the full length. These are pretty stretchy, so I can kind of stretch them down a little bit. So yeah, these are cute, but I know Paragon has other stuff coming, and I probably would not go crazy for these. Two more little mini reviews. First, I have a set that I've been meaning to try from the brand PAVOI. And if you're an affordable jewelry girly, you know that PAVOI is a really popular jewelry brand on Amazon, which I've actually tried their jewelry and I actually really like it. But they have started entering the activewear space, and they ended up sending me a lot of items, and a lot of them I felt like could still use some work. That's the thing for me. If you're going to start an activewear brand, something has to be unique and different. One thing I do like about them is they are keeping their prices affordable. The sports bra is like $15, which is very reasonable considering Amazon pricing is kind of going up. Like Oxjox will be charging close to $30 for a sports bra, which is like, let's rein it in a little bit, guys. So I do appreciate their pricing. And we'll see in the try on, but I do think that they could still work on some of their designs and fabrics. But honestly, I'm seeing some promising things. So this is their scoop neck sports bra in the FlexFlow fabric. This fabric is a dense brushed material. Again, we have that ruched front inverted V, which I was just saying that I liked this style. This is a much more short line sports bra though, so I hope I can fit into it. In the back, the straps are scooped. Always gotta evaluate the cup pads, and they're the triangle cup pads, which honestly are not the worst. At least they don't crinkle very easily. I find that the worst ones are like those like really thin round cup pads. So I'm not mad about the triangles. So let's try this on. Here's the bra. Definitely see potential in it. I just think it's not going to be the best for larger busts. I'm wearing a size small in it. I do like this inverted V in the front. Again, it's just a very flattering shape. We do have removable cups. The fabric is actually super comfortable. We have this scoop neck here. Overall coverage is about medium coverage, but I am kind of being forced out every which way with this bra. So it's definitely just not going to be large cup size friendly. If I sized up, I wouldn't have enough security in the band here because there's just a little tiny seam at the bottom. There's not really any under bust support, which is fine. Some things just aren't made for larger busts, but I still like this ruching detail. This fabric I actually think would be really good for bras because it does have a lot of hold. And then here's the back. I'm a little confused why there's minimal coverage in the front and then it's super thick in the back. If this bra is kind of meant to be more for smaller cup sizes, for lower impact, the amount of back coverage, it's not necessarily a problem though. It is nice and smooth in the back, nothing cutting into me. Overall, I would say true to size, just better for smaller cup sizes. And the support is around a light to medium support. And then we have have the leggings to match. These are the PAVOI Scrunch leggings. They are $26. Again, still in that affordable price range. They're made of that same FlexFlow fabric. I haven't tried these on yet, but I do think that this fabric is going to be a little bit thick for a legging. I think the fabric worked for a sports bra. Again, I might be wrong. We might love it, but it feels like it may be a little bit thick. We have a double thickness waistband. I also really like to see that they're not doing front seams. I honestly wouldn't even consider reviewing them at this point if they had a front seam. We do have a seam down the side of the leg, which sometimes I'm okay with, but I prefer not to have it. The glute seams in the back are just a little bit accentuated around the glutes, not very much. And then we have a scrunch in the back. I think we should be doing more of a hidden scrunch. And if we look at the inside of the scrunch, it's actually just the top half where they scrunched the fabric. And the top half of the back rise is really where you see the most scrunch, and where you really need the glute separation is in the bottom half of the scrunch. You look at something like the Honor Active Effortless leggings, they actually do their scrunch in the bottom half of the back rise so that you don't really see it on the top of the glute, but it really gives you that glute separation. I feel like they did the opposite of that here, which just doesn't work quite as well. I'm not expecting this to be what I look for in a scrunch, but let's give it a try. Here's a close-up of the fabric. It is a nice feel to it. It's a soft brushed fabric. It looks like it's going to be quite dense. I think I judged this fabric before putting it on because normally a thicker, dense fabric like this doesn't have enough stretch, especially from affordable brands, but this fabric has stretch. Like, I am kneeling right now and I feel no tightness in the knees. That's actually quite promising. So I take it back. Definitely excited to see more in this fabric. These have almost a little bit higher than a high rise, going slightly above my natural waist, double thickness waistband, and the compression on these is about a medium compression, so a little bit more than a classic naked feel fabric, but they're still really soft and they still have a ton of stretch. Like, I'm really not feeling any restriction, which is like my least favorite thing. Compared to like an Oxtrax legging, I'm really not a fan of their denser fabrics for leggings because they just don't fit quite right. These are actually really nice. And even though this is a light color, I'm not seeing my underwear through it, and we'll do that little sticker check again, and I can just barely see that through. So obviously it's still a light legging, but I would actually say pretty decently opaque. We do have that seam down the side, which is not my fave. And given the compression in the waist, I actually think that these would stay up pretty well. I initially thought they wouldn't, but they actually do feel like they're really holding on to the waist. And then we go to the back, and again, I just think that the scrunch isn't really doing much. It's not actually giving me very much glute separation. Quick intermission for Pinto to say hello. I love you. I love you. I do actually think that they're flattering on the glutes, but for me, that little scrunch being so visible does kind of take away for me. So if they replace that with just like a hidden scrunch, back rise elastic instead of the scrunched scrunch, I think that these would actually be really nice. Because this fabric is a little bit more dense, you're gonna get a little bit more cellulite coverage as well. And then here is the full length view. Actually a decent inseam on me. I'll list the inseam at the end, but they are longer than I expected. It's actually rare that I find an affordable activewear brand where I really like the fabric, and this was not what I expected it to feel like. I'm excited to see what else they do because I know they're very new, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. That concludes all of the mini reviews. Next, we're moving on to favorites. And my first favorite is actually some socks. I believe a year ago, maybe a little bit more, I finally ventured into the little Rue sock gym trend, and I've been really into it. I love putting on my little socks over my leggings, kind of scrunching them up a little bit. It just kind of ties the whole outfit together. And for a while, I was just wearing any socks that people had sent me. I had gotten a pair of Gymshark socks, I had some Buff Bunny, I had some Alpha Elite, but I didn't like that I always had to like place the logo in a specific way. This is really not a huge problem, but I had to take the extra time to be like, is this my right sock or my left sock? And I just didn't feel like doing that. I go to the gym in the morning and sometimes, you know, the brain is just not quite on yet. So I took myself over to Amazon and I got myself a 6-pack of Hanes crew socks for like $10. It's not actually $10, let me see how much it is. It was $13 for a 6-pack of the crew socks. I think 6 pairs, not just a 6-pack. And I am always getting questions about where these are from. First of all, they got a good amount of cushion in the toe area, so they're still pretty comfortable. They don't have a right or a left, so you don't have to think about that. And they're the perfect length of sock. They have 6 inches of this ribbing on the ankle area. So as a tall girly, it still covers up the area of my ankle that the legging doesn't quite go all the way down, because most leggings are not a full length on me. But but it's not like crazy long. Like my Gymshark socks would go all the way up to like my mid calf if I stretched them there. This is a very like niche favorite, but honestly, these have been great socks. They've been holding up really well and they were super cheap. Favorite number 2 are the Paragon Lightspeed shorts. I believe these are the fast track shorts. The fabric is Lightspeed. It's getting hot here in Arizona and I've been going out on a lot of walks, and sometimes I just don't want like a tight short on my walks. I just want something a little bit flowy. So I've been wearing a lot more flowy style shorts, and these ones just never disappoint. I wasn't sure about them at first because they are on the shorter side, but since it's so hot, I honestly appreciate any little breeze I can get. The waistband is elastic. There's no drawstring, but it fits me perfectly. I love the material. It's not super noisy, but it still has a little bit of flow to it. It has that kind of tulipped side detail. We have real inner shorts, which I love. I don't like the underwear lining, and I don't like when the shorts are so short that you see them underneath the outer short, which I don't in these. My only gripe with these is that I wish they had just one single pocket, just so I could put my keys. Actually, 2 pockets would be better, one for my keys, one for my phone, so I don't have to like carry a belt bag with me as well. But I have 3 pairs of these and I just keep reaching for them. So I believe they only have a couple sizes left in certain colors, so I'm just hoping they bring them back because I want more of these. And the last favorite, I debated whether or not to put this one in, but it really has been a favorite. It is the Buff Bunny Bend and Snap dress. This is from my launch, so obviously I love it, but I just wear this all the time. I wear it for pickleball, I wear it just walking around. I wore it to my final wedding dress appointment the other day, and it can just be dressed up or down. I love the color. I definitely will be wearing this for more bridal, you know, style things, just going to appointments. It just makes sense. The waist is so defining, it's comfortable, it has that built-in bra. I wear her all the time. I believe this is still in stock in some lengths and sizes. I would just love for this to come back in more colors. It's just the best active dress ever. And the final section is quality updates. And I'm not actually going to be giving any specific item quality updates, but I have decided to slightly change the way that I take care of my activewear. If you're an activewear girly, which you probably are if you're on this channel, extending the life of your activewear is super important. And I was already washing all of my clothes inside out, removing my cup pads so that they didn't get crinkled. I always hang dry my activewear, but lately I had had a couple pieces that got a pretty good amount of snags when going through the wash just because of the other items in the wash. So as if I needed to make things any more extra, I will now be washing my activewear and underwear together and then the rest of my clothes separate, because if you wash a pair of like jeans or anything with a zipper, even though I always zipped everything up in the wash before I washed it, it's just not worth the potential of ruining your favorite pieces. So I was thinking about doing an activewear care video soon if you guys would be interested in that. But honestly, I just separate all of my activewear before it even goes in the wash, so it's really not that difficult, and honestly makes it a little bit easier because I was always like trying to find my activewear to hang dry and separating that while I was putting everything else in the dryer. So this just makes it easier. Now I know everything that goes in the activewear load does not get dried. Let me know if you guys have any things you like to do for your activewear to take care of it. But yeah, that is everything for the video. Let me know if you guys liked this love it or leave it style video, if you'd like me to do more of these. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!